So last week at this time, I was getting ready to pack up and go on my annual writing retreat to Minnesota with my friend Kathy and some other authors. I was there with Carrie Trumbo and Elena Johnson and Tara Grace Erickson and a few others. I got some writing done. This bird, guys, he was such a hoot. There were two of them, and they were like flying in formation. It was clearly some sort of mating ritual or whatever, but it really looked like they were doing like synchronized flying for the Olympics or something. It was such a hoot. And so I pull out my camera, and what happens? The minute I do, they stopped. It was crazy. But we were at this Mount Olivet retreat center in, I think it was Farmington, Minnesota. It was beautiful. It was so green. I got my annual dose of chlorophyll. They had all kinds of walking paths. They had one that went out over the water onto this little island, and I had every intention of doing it. I was going to spend lots of time outdoors, but several of the ladies came back from their first walk with several ticks. And at that point, I decided the last thing I need in my life is Lyme disease. So I chose not to do that. And I spent my time learning a new program that I needed to add to my repertoire. And I got some writing edited and all the fun stuffness. So, that was pretty cool. But I got to say, looking out at the windows while you're writing and seeing all this green when you're from a place without so much green was pretty cool. And then, Kathy at her house, she took us out to her little free library. And hey, here's Kathy. Okay, Kathy, tell us about your little free library because it's so cute.
I know, isn't it great? My husband made it. We have been wanting a little free library for our new home. We've been here just over a year now, and this is something we've always wanted to do. This one is actually a commemorative library for our grandson, David. We thought it would be a very fitting memorial to him.
Yeah.
So our little free library has both children and adult books.
Look at this. This thing is packed. I love it. I really hate it when you go to one and there's like nothing in there and you can't tell, is it because it's never used or because it's really used,
Well, I'm really excited because several people have been using it and it's kind of fun. Sometimes my husband and I come out and we just check through it to see what people have left.
Well, yeah. So how much difference do you see in it based on what you started with?
There's probably about a third of what we put in here, and then 2/3 are new and
That's
swapped out
cool. That is so cool. So have you found anything that was like, oh yeah, I need to read that?
Yeah, a couple things.
Score!
And I found a couple things that I had to dispose of.
Well, yeah,
Yes.
It's like, maybe not the family friendly I was
Right.
going for.
I want to keep it family friendly. And I'm hoping we'll get more kids' books, too.
Right, yeah. I wish I had brought kids' books. I didn't think of that.
Yes. Well, Shalise, your daughter Shalise, she sent me a package of children's books, which was kind of fun.
Oh, that's cool, because I saw The Giver, and then there's...
And we have How to Be a Pirate.
And...
Surprise for the Nut Brown Hair. And we have a Nancy Drew.
That is a cool cover.
Yeah, this is a classic book, but I've never seen that
I've
cover.
never seen that cover. That is super cool.
It's a really appropriate cover, too.
Right,
Way more than the 1920s.
Right?
Yes.
The new thing that they're doing with them just makes me sick, so I love that.
Oh.
Not that I have an opinion or anything. Ella Enchanted, which is kind of in the middle.
Yep, Ella Enchanted. And there's Star Wars, which I tend to think of as YA kind of book. And then A Wolf Called Wander.
I've heard that is amazing.
I have too. And then another copy of The Giver, because I actually had one in there too.
Oh, how
Shelley
funny.
sent me that.
And then, there was the Goldilocks book.
Goldilocks, a Jan Brett. I love
Jan Brett.
Yeah. And then other people have added things. Pilgrim's Progress. Somebody dropped that
Oh, that's cool. I love Pilgrim's Progress.
Somebody out there's reading a lot of thrillers. We've got J.D. Robb and John Martel and Clive Cussler. I kind of like Clive Cussler. It's so improbable.
Yeah, he likes to have fun and just suspend that disbelief. People read the book.
Well, one of my favorite parts about Clive Cussler books is that every few books he paints his characters into a corner and there is no chance of rescue, and then he brings himself into the book.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, this ship will appear out of nowhere, and the pilot is this gray-haired man. Hi, my name is Clive.
I did not know that.
The first time it
That
happened,
is so
I just
cool.
laughed hysterically.
Okay, I have to read more Clive Cussler because I've not run across that.
They're
I've only read a couple, but yeah, they're lots of fun.
And then he, now his first few aren't real clean, but after that, it's like all of a sudden he decided to make them more family friendly.
That's what I was told. So
Yeah.
I skipped the first few.
Skip the first few and just move on to maybe like number 4 or 5.
Yeah,
Somewhere in
I
there.
think you must have been the one that told me because I think
be.
I started with like the 6th one I could find.
Yeah.
And they
probably
said
good.
it wasn't necessary. I think if it was you, I was told they weren't necessarily in order.
No, not really. The
And
order
so I
isn't
just
necessary.
grabbed. I think I grabbed number 6 because you said skip the first 4 or 5. So I was like, skipping the first 5.
Just be on the safe side.
Right? Yeah.
So, what I like about his is he just takes such liberties with history.
Yeah.
And
Just
he
like
admits it up front,
it's like I'm doing a what if, not a what was.
And he uses it as a springboard for what might have been really fun. And
Right.
I like him.
Yeah, that's super cool.
So that's kind of
Somehow we got to. I brought books for this thing, but somehow we got to squeeze them in.
that's okay. I think we can turn some of these. See, I have a couple of my books in there too. Baggage Claim, Christmas Camp, Snow Angels.
Sweethearts. Okay, guys, I got to say, if you need a funny book, you want this one. It is so funny. It is a wonderful story, but it is hilarious. And nobody writes quirky old people like Kathy. We have a mutual friend that says that Kathy writes humor for intelligent people.
I love that.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like, I wish I wrote humor like for intelligent people, but apparently I'm not smart enough for that.
Well, I'm not sure you have to be smart, and I'm glad that she calls it that.
Right?
I find
It's just
it really fun. I like writing funny books.
Right. Well, you need humor or life. You're not gonna make it.
They're not rom-com, not at all.
No.
But they are funny. Okay, so we're going to make some room here. Careful there, James Fenimore Cooper and Charles Dickens.
Well, you got to have a classic, whether it's any good or not. I mean,
Right.
Kathy kind of agrees with me on most classics. We disagree on Austen.
So I have Come What May. This is the new collection. This one may need to go in the house for a while.
Yeah,
so I can
yeah.
read it all.
Except it is already out of print.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was in print for 6 months only. So you
This
have
is
a collector's item.
edition. Yes. And then I have The Tidal Waves.
Da-da-da.
Swameli. Yes. All he wants to do is help people, but the local women want to help themselves to him.
Yeah, he's not real happy about this. He left
what
being
he-
he left the islands being this just local boy who is a little pudgy and a little not quite so desirable, and he came back 10 years later rather alluring. And the women are like, yes, right? And why do men do that and women not always so much?
It doesn't seem to work that way for all of us.
Right? And so I was
Yeah.
like, but yeah, he's not real happy about it. So
Well, it is a very cool book.
I liked it. It was fun to write.
Yeah. And then we have Twice Soul Tales and Clock Tower Bound.
Because books.
Both of which are Mosaic's book strings.
Yes.
Really fun. Now, I haven't read Clock Tower Bound yet, but it is set in Bern, Indiana,
From
right?
Indiana.
And that's really fun.
Yeah, it kind of gives a fun look at the Amish from a different perspective, but without totally trashing them.
Oh, I'm glad.
I wanted both. I wanted
Yeah.
to show that they were flawed, a little more flawed than we sometimes recognize.
Still human.
Yep. But this one has a special story.
This is one of my favorites.
And because
because we went on a research trip together there, and it was very fun. Twice sold tales. That's kind of hard to say.
It is. It is.
Twice
But you
sold
got your bangs cut
I
in this
got a haircut.
actually store.
Yes, I got this trimmed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Me in the back.
Right? And she was so nice. They let me video the whole thing. And funny story, I don't know if I ever told you, but see this broken window?
Uh-huh.
That was put on the cover as a joke because I hadn't responded to the illustrator's wife's message fast enough. So she's
really
like,
bad about that.
we're going to break windows. And she broke it. I'm like, I'm leaving that and writing it into the story. So there is a broken window in the story because I didn't see a message fast enough.
You know, I never noticed it.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
So the thing about this, back to Red Wing.
Right, because Red Wing.
Because Red Wing's awesome. We had so much fun.
We did. Even though I was sick and slept half the night away and you had to go find your own dinner.
To the grocery store to go buy some dinner. This building is now a hair salon.
Yeah.
And so we kind of hovered around the outside edges of it, and we really wanted to see inside just to make sure it would work. So we went inside and I said, I need a haircut. I guess we could go in and ask. So I went in and I said, does anyone have time to cut my bangs? So the woman got me in, and she's trimming my bangs, and Shatona's poking all around this building. Making the woman a little nervous. So finally we explained that Shatona really wanted to see the building and why. And she said, oh yeah, go ahead, look wherever you want.
She let me video.
Yeah, she let her video, and I got a very nice haircut.
Yeah.
And
For
it's quite
it was like $8 or something to trim your bangs,
So yes, so that's what we did to get that. And so the book has great memories even without reading the book.
Right? Because you don't love me. I mean, because you have a life outside of me. That's a little bit more like it.
Every once in a while. But
So anyway,
but that is so fun.
Yeah.
And life is more fun with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So, thank you for sharing your little free library.
Yeah. Did you look around at all the flowers on the library?
I showed the one side, but I haven't shown this side. See, this side has these flowers.
Yeah, and these were made, this was my whole part of it. My husband did all the heavy lifting work, and then I used my Cricut to cut out vinyl flowers for it, and the words.
And that little...
Yeah, take
Zoom
a
in
book,
on that.
leave a book.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
And guys, we do try to leave one when you take one, but if you don't have one and it's the book you've been waiting
That's
for,
okay.
take the dumb book. You can leave one some other time.
Yes, and obviously we are well stocked
Yeah.
now. And if you're looking for some in the St. Cloud, Minnesota area,
There you go.
there you go.
It's so cute. Thank you, Kathy.
Oh, thanks for sharing it and showing it off, because we're real proud of it.
Yeah, it is adorable, and I'm so glad to do this. Thank you. We also went out to the Pearson family farms. I can't remember the town it's in, but it's just such a beautiful place. And we were walking around in their little, I don't know what you would call this. I want to call it a glen. I mean, look at the flowers. They're so pretty. But there was this tree. It'll come up in a minute. And all I could think of was, I want to be Anne Shirley right now. I want to climb this tree with my book, get myself all nestled in there, and just read and be alone with nature and a great story. Particularly, I don't know, Anne of Green Gables just feels like it should be the thing, right? And it was so lovely. The temperatures were, it was like 70 degrees. It was perfect and just green and lush. It rained twice when I was there. Obviously not right now, but it was just everything you could want. And then they had just planted their, I believe it was the pumpkin that this field is. They had just planted, and I just thought that was beautiful, and I loved it. And that's sweet Leo, and I love Leo. So there's that. Her husband, Kathy's husband, Pat, has bees, and so he drove us out. It's on this farm, not at their house, but he drove us out to show me their hives. See, it looks like the little free library, but the ones in the yellow were really, really agitated. The blue were pretty just calm and doing their bee things, but over at the yellow, they were There's just a lot of them, and they were just not really happy. They were kind of overhead, and you could just see them, and it was like, whoa. Pat also has made friends with a little chipmunk, and this little guy, sometimes he'll put those sunflower seeds or whatever he has down there on his shoe, and the little guy will come and take them right off his shoe. He hasn't gotten him to go for the hand yet, but I'm thinking this is pretty impressive. And I don't know. What about you? Don't you think he needs a name and a spot in a book somewhere? I'm thinking we have to have, this little chipmunk. But I mean, look how close he let Pat get. Look at that. That was amazing. But yeah, it wasn't. I was upstairs looking down. And then here we are. It's the weather. I got stuck in Denver for a while on the tarmac because it was too bad. And look, we killed lots of bugs on the way home, but you can tell we're almost home because there's the 15. And just outside Adelanto, had to show you this, is a huge Buddhist temple. It is enormous, and they have all these really bright lights to light up this incredibly huge Buddha thing out there. It was crazy, and it dawned on me that I'd never really paid attention to the lights from it before. So here it is. I'm home. I had a wonderful Bookish trip, but I gotta say, it's also nice to be back, even in the heat. See you later.